backup pens. Top of the day, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Sorry for the tardiness. I was still sleeping like I was going into the Sabbath day. All right, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. It is October the 5th, 2022, day 230 of year 4, reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1248. Today, we are picking back up in Oahspe in the book of Judgment on page 687 in chapter 25. All right, y'all. Father, we thank you that you are forever friend. All right. Nene, shalom, shalom, sis. Set apart living, grand rising. Auntie. Hey, girl, hey. Elijah, grand rising, beloved. Anita, greetings. Vanette, greetings. Tanya Bumberry, grand rising. Derry, see you. Shalom. And everybody else? Hanging out in the background. Top of the day to you. Hannah, grand rising, grand rising. All right, y'all, let's get started. I'm all ready. I should have been started. Okay, chapter 25 in Big Blue, page 687. Under chapter 25 or chapter XXV, the subtitle is God Showeth How and When the Second Resurrection manifesteth unto mortals. God said, in the cities and country places, I have innumerable lords apportioned to districts and to the mortals and angels thereof. And my lords know the rates and grades of their people, their occupation, their aspirations, their labor, their behavior, public and private. Shayla, hey girl, hey. Now behold, I have said unto my lords, the era of dictation is past. Man hath arrived at Cosmon. Declare ye the light of my heavens unto man, but let man judge himself and labor to save himself, that he may have honor and glory thereby. We're on page 687, y'all. Verse 4. And further, I said unto my lords, man hath prayed, saying, thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Now this I give unto you, that where men abnegate self and affiliate into a communal brotherhood after the manner of my heavenly kingdoms, then shall ye affiliate my organic angels with such mortals and make them one with my second resurrections. And ye shall surround such communal brotherhoods with the light of my kingdoms, thereby controlling the angelic... Hold on. I read this yesterday. Did I read this? Day before yesterday? Chapter 20. I definitely read this. I done already started reading. Let me just keep going. Yeah, because I'm like, let me mark this. But I noticed the markings over here. And then it clicked that I was reading the same words. Okay, well, we're just going to keep going. Yeah, I did? Okay. Why didn't y'all stop me when I said chapter 25? Okay. Look, I wrote the wrong chapter. Look. I wrote the wrong chapter on Monday. That's why. Because I looked at what I wrote Monday. It should be 26, but I'm just put 25 again. Okay, we're going to keep going and give some people a chance to get in. Okay. Listen, I read verse 4 again. And I further said unto my lords, man hath prayed, saying, thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Now this I give unto you, that where men abnegate self and affiliate into a communal brotherhood after the manner of my heavenly kingdoms, then shall ye affiliate my organic angels with such mortals and make them one with my second resurrections. And ye shall surround such communal brotherhoods with the light of my kingdoms, thereby controlling the angelic intercourse with mortals, so that Druhas and vampire spirits cannot molest them. That's why I remembered that I read this, because I jumped in where I said intercourse. Okay. Verse 6, page 687. And these brotherhoods shall be taught to question not the spirits and oracles on personal matters, but for light and truth as to what will contribute to meliorating, I say that right? Meliorating the condition of man, and as to light and truth regarding the higher and lower heavens, and as to attaining spiritual gifts and great wisdom. Well, that's good. Let me just read that again. And these brotherhoods shall be taught to question not the spirits and oracles on personal matters, but for light and truth as to what will contribute to meliorating the condition of man, and as to light and truth regarding the higher and lower heavens, and as to attaining spiritual gifts and great wisdom. And such mortals shall have times and places for worshipful matters, and these times shall be in concert with my Lord of that district, and the light of his throne shall be given unto such a brotherhood. The members of such a brotherhood shall not desire a leader, neither will any one of them desire to be a leader. For if one should so desire, he would not be of the Godhead, but of himself. Moreover, none of the members of such a brotherhood shall go off of his own accord to minister as an individual to the inhabitants of Uz, but each and all in the brotherhood shall concentrate their profits and force unto one end and object. Even so, O man, are my organic heavens, all the members of each heaven being as a unit with the whole. They waste not their strength and time in isolated endeavors, whereby when a prophet foolishly boasteth to thee as to having some high-raised angel with a loud-sounding name as his special guardian and guide, know thou such a prophet is in the hands of Druhas who have not entered my heavenly kingdoms. Verse 12, page 687. Neither hath it ever happened on the earth with any individual man raised up by me or my lords for a specific work, like Moses or Caillou or Zacchaeus or any other, that they knew of or boasted of any special angel over them, but all of them experienced the light, which was a pillar of fire. Even such is the manifestation of the second resurrection through my Lord and his holy council. And the manifestations are not like those of a mere magician, but the accomplishment of something that embraceth nations, empires, and mighty peoples. For this reason, O man, I declare unto thee that the Father's kingdom is now being founded on earth, and the mortal manifestation thereof is near at hand. But it shall not come in this area as in the past through any one great leader forth, but it shall appear as a spontaneous light permeating the soul of thousands, and they shall come forth, establishing Jehovah in truth and fullness. Sort of like the scripture in Joel, right? Where it says that the Spirit will be poured out upon all flesh. That's what this reminds me of. The Spirit will be poured upon all flesh, men, women, maid servants, men servants, young men, old men, being dreamers of dreams, visions, all these things, right? Verse 17. I'll read 16 again. But it shall not come to pass in this area as in the past through any one great leader forth, but it shall appear as a spontaneous light permeating the soul of thousands, and they shall come forth, establishing Jehovah in truth and fullness. Now therefore, O man, consider the judgment of thy God against all such as are called the best of men, the wisest of men, the greatest of kings or queens or popes, for none of these have even passed the first resurrection in their own practice. And after pass is reference number 55. 55 at the bottom says enter. All right, y'all. So this is where we should have started today on page 688, chapter 26. Miss Amazing Wonders, blessing Tabitha, blessing Cosmine Cal, shalom, brother. Deshaun, hey girl, hey, happy new day, intuitive goat. Okay, chapter 26 or chapter XXVI on page 688. The subtitle is God judgeth the ascetic. God said, there are such as shut themselves up in colleges, and after colleges is in parentheses is convents and nunneries, right? And such as retire to the forest, devoting their lives to prayer, confessions, and rites and ceremonies, being most systematic and routine, and in being shut away from the Uzians. And they allot certain ones as leaders and overseers, making themselves inquisitors over one another in hope of purifying their thoughts and aspirations, constantly trapping one another for shortness, and then submitting to petty punishment and afflictions, hoping thereby to check evil thoughts, words, and actions. Judgment is rendered against all such people, be they mortals or angels, for these are the methods of the imprisonment of the mind. All such mortals are preparing themselves for the bondage of Druhas on their entrance into the S world. Wow. Yea, even in that same college, they shall be immured after death by thousands of Druhas who inhabit the place, who profess to have some scheme of projected salvation. All such people are the manifestation of darkness instead of light. Good gracious. Well, we can see it clearly in the Catholic Church. I mean, it's not funny, but dang. All such people are the manifestation of darkness instead of light. Jehovah created man with capacity for developing talent to do good unto others. Now behold, these ascetics labor for themselves in these foolish proceedings. They do not these things in order to ameliorate the condition of their neighbors, neither have they shown in a single instance where a benefit resulted to the state in consequence of their practices. They call their initiations sacred, but I declare unto thee, they are a blasphemy against Jehovah. They are as a snare for the imprisonment of the mind and soul. Wow. Gotta highlight this, y'all. Verse 9. And after death, these people are prevented by their Drusian masters from entering heavenly places of resurrection, becoming instead slaves in the S world to pursue such calling and practice as may be put upon them. For the same rule holdeth on earth and in heaven as regardeth the bondage of the mind. If by imposing rights, that's got to be the title today, bondage of the mind. And probably with something else that I add to it. We'll see. Page 688, verse 10. For the same rule holdeth on earth and in heaven as regardeth the bondage of the mind. If by imposing rites and ceremonies and by the stratagems and cunning of mortal priests they can be captured on earth, even so can they be retained in bondage in heaven. And it happeneth with them that even as they honestly believe they are right on earth, so will they persist they are right in heaven, even willingly submitting to cruelty and to torture in order to prove their fidelity. Yikes. Be considerate, O man, of the words of thy God. He who created thee gave to thee one star of light, whereby thou mayest determine truth and wisdom. Whatever doctrine showeth self as the chief consideration, even if it be for obtaining wisdom or supposed purity for self's sake, is not of Jehovah. How can you argue against this? He's saying anything that only tends to the betterment of yourself, it does not come from me. Anything that leads to life of not just you, but also your brethren in the process, keep going at it. I'll read that again. Verse 12, let me go back up. Be considerate, O man, of the words of thy God. He who created thee gave to thee one star of light, whereby thou mayest determine truth and wisdom. Whatever doctrine showeth self as the chief consideration, even if it be for obtaining wisdom or supposed purity for self's sake, is not of Jehovah. The aborigine that roveth foolishly in the forest standeth higher, therefore, before thy God, than doth the nun or the ascetic. For though the former liveth for self only, yet he is not bound in spirit. And in all things thou shalt weigh the object and the end aimed at, and the final result, and wherein self standeth as a part or a whole consideration, know thou such a matter is not of Jehovah, but of Satan. It is not sufficient for the apologists of Satan to say, "Oh, we dwell in the colleges in order to pray for Uzians." But thou shalt weigh their prayers also, and thou shalt estimate the value thereof by what is accomplished. And thou shalt prove whether their prayers provided harvest of wheat and corn, and food and clothing for the poor, and education for the unlearned, or any other thing that was good. Be thou not put off by the cunning of Satan's words in the mouths of priests or popes, but look matters in the face, and be thou a God thyself in discerning things that ameliorate the condition of man. That's good. All right, y'all, next chapter, chapter 27, which is chapter XXVII, page 688. And I'm calling out the actual Roman numerals now because some people's actually reading it online and they just have the chapter numbers, right? They don't actually have the page numbers. Okay, and the subtitle under chapter 27 is God Judgeth Charities. God said, a certain man built a dam across a river using only stones but no cement, and the water ran through the crevices, rendering the dam worthless. Then came certain neighbors to him, saying, thou shalt apply cement to the crevices. So the man went to the lower side and applied cement, but lo and behold, the result was only temporary, for the water washed the cement away. Again, his neighbors said unto him, apply thou the cement at the upper side, and the water will carry it into the crevices, where it will remain with good effect. And the man did so, and behold, the dam was a complete structure. After such manner, O man, consider all charities. Thou mayest apply thy riches and thy estates for charity's sake, but of no profit under the sun. When the man applieth the cement where it was not self-sustaining, the waters washed it away. Oh, that's good. Hold on. Verse 7. When the man applied the cement where it was not self-sustaining, the waters washed it away. Wherein thou appliest charity, and it not be self-sustaining, judgment is rendered against thee. When the man applied the cement toward the foundation, it became self-sustaining. Wherein thou appliest charity, and it be self-sustaining, judgment is rendered in thy favor. When thou meetest thy neighbor on the road, and he hath fallen down and broken his leg, and cannot stand, consider how foolish it would be to lift him up, and then let him fall again. Flatter not thyself that such would be charity. That's good. That's exactly what I was thinking before I even got there, right? Like, if they ain't already, it's like this. Here's something I understand, because I saw it from the business standpoint, right? Listen. So think about people and anybody in business who ever tried to go get a business loan or anything to help you boost your business or to help you out, right? If you go into the bank, or even if you go to a investor, whatever type of investor it may be, with the exception of a shark. Sharks don't care. They're going to see what you got. You know, they're going to try and hold you accountable in the end when they should have really ran you through the ringer like DFACs do, like the banks do. You got to give them your entire life story before they'll lend you any of their money, right? Because they want to see, first of all, are you already sound, right? Are you already sound, or are you completely sick? Because if you come into me in a sick state, you just going to waste away all the money that I'm giving you anyway, which is why banks require businesses to bring a sound business plan and sometimes it depends. Like if you're just starting up a business, they may give you something if you have a really good sound business plan and your structure and stuff is already in place. And some people may even give you something just with your idea, and when they do that, when they give it to you, like if you watch Shark Tank, the ones that's going to give you the money, because it's people that come with business would already have their financials. They've already been in business for a few years or whatever, and they've already produced results, right? Some people come with just calculated produced results if they had such and such because they got a good brain, right? Now, the ones that the Shark Tank give their money to that just have the idea but haven't really brought anything into fruition yet, they just got a really good sound business plan and they presented it great. The sharks, when they give them money, that's why they negotiate with them for a certain percentage of the income, because they're going to, not only are they going to be giving them money, but they're going to be helping them with the resources to make sure this plan goes as planned and there ain't going to be any kind of hiccups. We're not just going to give you the money and walk away like we would for some people. We need to be with you every step of the way and make sure you hit these benchmarks all along the way, right? Same thing with banks. If you don't already have that sound business plan, well, what have you done? Matter of fact, give us the last 2 years. Even we're going to buy a house, right? How have you already been paying your creditors? It would be foolish of me. Your leg is already broken. I'm not going to help you stand up until your leg mends and you can learn how to get up on your own and it's strong enough to stand. I'm going to leave you right there on the ground because it's going to leave you in a worse state than what you were when I found you, right? That's exactly what this is. Let me read this again. This is amazing. Let me just go back to verse 1 so we can hear it all in context. God judgeth charities. God said, a certain man built a dam across a river using only stones and no cement, and the water ran through the crevices, rendering the dam worthless. Then came certain neighbors to him, saying, thou shalt apply cement to the crevices. So the man went to the lower side and applied the cement, but lo and behold, the result was only temporary, for the water washed the cement away. And his neighbor said unto them, apply thou the cement at the upper side, and the water will carry it into the crevices, where it will remain with good effect. And the man did so, and behold, the dam was a complete structure. After such manner, O man, consider all charities. Thou mayest supply thy riches and thy estates for charity's sake, but of no profit under the sun. When the man applied the cement where it was not self-sustaining, the waters washed it away. Wherein thou appliest charity, and it be not self-sustaining, judgment is rendered against thee. When the man applieth the cement toward the fountain, it became self-sustaining. Wherein thou appliest charity, and it be self-sustaining, judgment is rendered in thy favor. When thou meetest thy neighbor on the road, and he hath fallen down and broken his legs, it cannot stand. I'm sorry. Let me read it again. Verse 11. When thou meetest thy neighbor on the road, and he hath fallen down and broken his legs and cannot stand, consider how foolish it would be to lift him up and then let him fall again. Flatter not thyself that such would be charity. And yet how much of the so-called charity of the world is of that kind? The children of darkness do this better than you, right? At least they run you through the ringer. They're scrupulous masters. They are scrupulous masters, whereby sometimes we let our faith run rampant and rawshod all over the place, and they just run in circles around the children of light, and it should not be that way. right? Somebody has cut off the common sense switch in your brain that you were born with. And it's called religion. Verse 12, and yet how much of the so-called charity of the world is of that kind? Thou mayest feed 3 drunkards' families and flatter thyself that thou hast done charity worthily. But if thou hast not done that which will make them no longer in need of charity, thou hast done little. It's the same concept. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for life, right? Because you taught him how to do something that he could help sustain himself with, not just constantly feeding him. You ain't gonna be able to get away from them. Keep on getting them, they're gonna keep asking you for it, right? You're enabling them to be in a state, to continue being in the state that they're in. Another man may not feed them, but he may reform them and put them in the way to be self-sustaining. Such a man will have done 100-fold greater charity. To open the way for former employment and industry, this is the greatest of all charity. For by these avenues, charity will not be needed, even for the aged nor for orphans. Consider then how little any people have to boast. Consider then how little any people have to boast of for charity's sake. Even their asylums and poorhouses and homes for the aged and helpless are so many witnesses. Hold on. I think I'm reading too fast. What? That's a long sentence. Hold on. Verse 16. Consider then how little any people have to boast of for charity's sake. Even their asylums and poorhouses and homes for the aged and helpless are so. That's what's screwing me up right here. Are so many witnesses of condemnation against the people who built them. Oh, okay. I should have just kept reading. Okay. Consider then how little any people have to boast for charity's sake. Even their asylums and poorhouses and homes for the aged and helpless are so many witnesses of condemnation against the people who built them, because some great wrongs and evils existing within the state were also built by the people in the first place. Yikes. They are as paint and plaster, hiding and redeeming them in some measure for the sins of a wicked people. And when such a city saith, behold us, what a charitable people we are, I say unto thee, that city understandeth not the kingdom of God. Yeah, you got all this charity, but everybody on the receiving end of your charity is lazy bums. I know that sounds kind of harsh. Listen, but it's the truth. Listen. They are as paint and plaster, hiding and redeeming them in some measure for the sins of a wicked people. And when such a city saith, behold us, what a charitable people we are, I say unto thee, that city understandeth not the kingdom of God. Yet thou shalt avoid going to the other extreme, doing nothing, which is worst of all. But thou shalt go to the root of the matter. Thy charity shall be directed to prevent the causes of such ill fortunes. This is good. Tiffany, hey girl, hey. Listen, I gotta put a sticky here. I gotta read this. I gotta read this to somebody. Somebody that needs some help with something, not for themselves, but for another, because they need to help somebody else. And they trying to figure out how in the world to help them. I'm like, you need to put them to work. All right, look. Hold on. Let me make a mark so I can remember. Okay. Chapter 28, page 689, and the Roman numeral is XXVIII. The subtitle says, God showeth how to do charity. God said, "O man, consider the folly of individual effort. One will say, I help my family and my neighbors. Let others do so, and all will be well. This is his philosophy and doctrine. Now I say unto thee, this is just what hath been tried for thousands of years, and it hath resulted in impotency all the while. It hath been said, sell all thou hast and give to the poor. But I say, thou shalt not do this." Ooh, did we just talk about this the other day? Who was that? A new person that started talking. Palala. I think that's her name. Palala. Okay. It hath been said, sell all thou hast and give to the poor. But I say unto thee, thou shalt not do this. Though that opened the way to salvation in the ancient days, it is not sufficient in this day. Neither shalt thou hope that by giving to the poor thou shalt escape condemnation. But thou shalt go to the foundation of things and go systematically. Thy efforts shall not be single-handed, but thou shalt unite with others, and together ye shall provide a remedy. Thy efforts shall not be single-handed, but thou shalt unite with others, and together ye shall provide a remedy against poverty, remembering it is wiser to accomplish with the young than with the aged. For the mature will be dead in a few For the mature will be dead in a few years, and in that day those that are children will be mature. But it is kind of better. Well, some older people will listen, right? And if they're older and they listen, that means in their younger days they were teachable and they just kept a teachable spirit. But when they thick-headed, you just go ahead. What Jason say? Wipe the dust off your feet and keep on going. Keep on going. I use that because everybody's probably familiar with that saying. Most of us came from Christendom. Okay, listen. Let me just go back up. Verse 3. It hath been said, sell all thou hast and give to the poor. But I say unto thee, thou shalt not do this. Though that opened the way to salvation in the ancient days, it is not sufficient in this day. Neither shall thou hope that by giving to the poor thou shalt escape condemnation. But thou shalt go to the foundation of things and go systematically. You know what? If y'all see somebody stand, imagine. It would be some. Let me tell you something. You probably really be able to real quick tell the hearts of people if you start riding around in your vehicle, especially during the holidays, especially if you're going to the shopping centers. If you start riding around with resource packets, I mean, ain't got to be big, ain't got to be this big banner. You know how to give you little chick tracks, salvation tracks? Get something about that small, right? And put resources for your city, phone numbers, maybe even a couple vouchers or something. I don't know. Maybe a voucher or something. You know, put it in there with places, not necessarily places who going to give you charity. They may need like a place to say, maybe like a Salvation Army, because at least the one in Newport News, right, where I live at, they don't play, right? They'll provide beds for you. I'm like, they're more than well the Kingdom than some of these other places. We'll give you a place to stay, but you can't come in here and loaf around all day. We're going to open the doors about 7 p.m. And on when it starts getting colder, they may open the doors maybe like, I'm not sure how they change the hours. They may open the doors about 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., especially for the ones with women and children. You come in here about this time, but you can come in here, you will be able, I'm not even sure if they allow them to shower, but they provide beds and stuff so they can get off the street at night when it's cold. You can get a good night's rest, and hopefully a safe place if you ain't got too many shenanigans on the inside, right? But come morning, at that cockle-doodle-doo, you and all your crew have got to go. Y'all can't stay here all day. Go out there and go find some work. That's what you're supposed to be doing anyway. If you had your own place, you wouldn't be able to sleep or you wouldn't be able to pay your bills, right? Get out here during the day, do what you need to do. And then they only let you come for a certain period of time. What have you been doing the last 30 days? You just come in here like, seriously, you just stand on the corner. You haven't even tried to go put in an application. We got resources here where you can go. There are places you can go, shower, clean yourself. There are different resources like that, right? The whole point is put together some resource packets, right? And when you pull up to the light, right, when they stand there with the sign, need money, you got different people with different signs, right? Some people, help me, homeless, right? But you have other people. I've seen a couple men looking for a job, will work, not asking for a handout, right? And that make you want to help more people, unless they're trying to use that sign to use reverse psychology on you, because you stopping at the light, you gonna be gone and probably ain't gonna think about them again. Make you think that they actually doing something when they're not. So you just got to kind of be careful. But here's the kicker. Roll around with resource packets. And instead of giving them money, give them a resource packet with the references, like print out a list. And you can fold it up, maybe a page. You ain't got to be too much, right? A page, fold it, right? Fold it, put it in the little thing, hand it to them. They might look at you like, they may not even take it, right? Like, what's this? Brother, sister, here's some resources in our city that could probably help you get a job. If they smack that jank out your hand, you should speed off, right? And hopefully it's raining on that day. And make sure you hit a puddle real good just to drench them, because they're a complete shenaniganizer, right? Don't give them none of your money. Shebrew, hey, girl, hey. BC, Shalom, Jamia, hey, girl, hey. Listen, seriously, that was kind of being funny, but I'm really serious, right? Angela, Shalom. But you can tell people who out there who really need help. If they don't even take, they be like, you know what, thank you. Because some people may not know that there are certain things available. And there are jobs who will take people who are down on their luck, so to speak. And they have resources for them. They've worked out things, at least I've seen right here. They've worked out things with certain people, especially if you don't have a place to stay. They'll provide room and board for a couple of days, help you get cleaned up. You know, as long as you're making strides, and you really have to set out what it is you're doing. You can't just be like, yeah, I'm going to go check into this tomorrow. No, like we have somebody assigned to you, because you can't be here longer than 30 days, right? We got places for women like that, right? They come in, they'll accept you. You gotta go through this whole little checklist and stuff that they have, right? And even before you leave out of there in the morning for your employment or to look for your employment, there's chores of the house, like it's called here in Newport News, the Mitchfield House, and it's a house for women and children, right? And they do that same thing before you even leave here. Y'all, they got washing machines, dryers, and all this stuff. They got a kitchen. I know, because I know a couple people who actually had to go there, and they tell you about what's on the inside. I've actually talked to a couple people, but they literally hold them accountable. And if they give you like 2 strikes, you don't even get 3 at the Mitchfield House. You get the first strike, they call you into the office, try and help you remedy whatever is going on, especially if it's with somebody else that they've allowed to stay there. Y'all can't go in there with no crap, because they will kick you back out on the streets, right? You ain't want to follow nobody's rules. You think you're going to come in our place and we're going to help you when you ain't going to follow our rules either. No, we require you to get up. We require all these beds to be stripped, all this stuff washed. And everybody that's living here that eats, ain't nobody cooking for y'all. You getting on the schedule, everybody's taking turns to cook. It's like, I don't need everybody else's food. Well, you can get out of here, because that's the rules of here. We're going to make sure everybody completely sanitized, wear your hair nets, wash your hands, put on gloves. Like, I really like the Mitchfield House, because they're holding people to the fire. And I know somebody that went there that thought, look, they ain't gonna talk to me like that. And they don't talk to them, but they were firm on what they said before they even bring you in. These are the rules. This is what we require. We're not here to help you get off the street, but we're here to help you get off the street, to help you get back on your feet so you can get out there and get your own. I know one person got kicked out because they didn't want to listen. They thought, oh, well, they had that same attitude, which is why they got kicked out of their parents' house. They weren't able to keep their own bills up. And just like, it's like, man, come on, y'all gotta, some people really, they have this entitlement attitude, like you have to do for them. And then when you kick their hind parts out on the street, they want to try and make you feel bad because of their laziness. Not on my watch. Sorry. I will ride past you in the morning. Hey, girl, did you call that job back? While I'm driving I will speed up. Ooh, I hope she knows it's a hurricane coming. She better do something. Trina, hey. All right, look. Okay, let me go back. I be joking sometimes, but I be so serious sometimes, right? I will roll up my window. Don't nobody look over there. Because they trying to play us. Listen, okay. Verse 3, it hath been said, sell all thou hast and give to the poor. But I say unto thee, thou shalt not do this. Though that opened the way to salvation in the ancient days, it is not sufficient in this day. Neither shalt thou hope that by giving to the poor thou shalt escape condemnation, but thou shalt go to the foundation but thou shalt go to the foundation of things and go systematically. Thy efforts shall not be single-handed, but thou shalt unite with others, and together ye shall provide a remedy against poverty. Remembering it is wiser to accomplish with the young than with the aged. For the mature will be dead in a few years, and in that day those that are children will be mature. Better is it that ye provide a way unto 10 fatherless children than for 40 people that are grown. Whew, Trina. Verse 9. But even in this ye may err toward the children, for to provide them an asylum in infancy, saying, behold, what a good work we have done, showeth that ye measured not as your God measureth. For it is not sufficient that ye feed and clothe little ones, but ye shall teach them a trade and occupations, and give them learning, so that when they are grown, they can sustain themselves. But even yet, your work is not the highest, but ye shall so provide them that they will not only be self-supporting, but that they will be willing and capable of rescuing others as they were rescued. And after this, ye shall see to it that all things are so provided that after your death, your institution be not liable to fall into disuse or perversion. This is founding the Father's kingdom on earth. And whoso laboreth thus shall be ministered unto by my heavenly kingdoms. Let me go back. This is founding the Father's kingdom on earth. And whoso laboreth thus shall be ministered unto by my heavenly kingdoms for the glory of Jehovah. Therefore, let your charity be not for a year, nor for 100 years, but be ye the cornerstones, founding places on earth, where shall rest perpetually a system that will provide a new race, where poverty and crime and helplessness cannot enter. Ye thus become, even in morality, members of my second resurrection in heaven. Oh my goodness. That was amazingly beautiful. The way they explained this. Yo, Gloria, hey girl, hey, look. Okay, chapter 9, where we at? With 44 minutes? Okay. Chapter 29 on page 689, the Roman numeral is XXIX. Subtitle, God Judgeth the Missionaries. God said, in the olden time, I commanded thee, saying, go forth in all the world, preaching my doctrines, chief of which was, there is but one, even the I am. Him shalt thou love with all thy heart, and thy mind, and thy soul, and love thy neighbor as thyself, having faith in Jehovah through righteousness and good works. Moreover, I declared unto thee that whosoever fulfilled my commandments, believing in Jehovah, certain signs should be given unto them, whereby they might be known unto men. And thou wentest forth, and behold, my signs went with thee, and thou did accomplish service unto Jehovah. But it came to pass, in course of time, thou didst forsake thy Creator, setting up lords and saviors of thine own, worshiping them instead of Jehovah. Kind of like what Christianity do, right? Like, why is y'all worshiping Jesus instead of the Creator? And then you start running into the ones where Jesus is a creator. No, he ain't. Because who created him? Yeah, no, he ain't. He born of a woman. But it came to pass in course of time, thou didst forsake thy creator, setting up lords and saviors of thine own, worshiping them instead of Jehovah. And I looked down upon thee from my holy place in heaven, and I saw that thou hadst become obsessed with evil spirits, thousands and millions of them who profess to be the lords and saviors whom thou worshipest. And I said unto my lords, behold, man hath erected an idol in heaven. Go ye to them that preach in my name, and take from them the signs and miracles which I gave. And my lords came unto thee, finding thou wert gone abroad over all the world, and my lords cut thee short of signs and miracles. For this was the judgment of thy God against thee. Because thou hast turned against the I am, teaching another God than Jehovah. And I made this, my edict, manifest on the earth. For I withdrew my holy angels from thee, and from that time forth, whithersoever thou hast gone, behold, I have given thee none of the signs whereof I had been liberal before. And I measured the work of thy hand in the places of thy mission, and I found that thou wert impotent to establish good works. And following in thy path, whithersoever thou hadst gone, thousands and millions of Jewhas followed thee, and thy people went with weapons of destruction, slaughtering those Jehovah had created alive in order to establish thy idol God, right? Taking the gospel to the four corners of the earth, subduing peoples and nations for the sake of Jesus Christ. And when they don't listen, you kill. That's how the Jewhas began to follow you and your acts. This is what it's talking about. And not just Christianity. Islam does this too. They're probably the top two still today. I'll go back to 9. And I made this, my edict, manifest on the earth. For I withdrew my holy angels from thee, and from that time forth, whithersoever thou hast gone, behold, I have given thee none of the signs whereof I had been liberal before. And I measured the work of thy hand in the places of thy mission. Talking to missionaries, right? And I measured the work of thy hand in the places of thy mission. And I found that thou wert impotent to establish good works. And following in thy path, whithersoever thou hadst gone, thousands and millions of Jewhas followed thee, and thy people went with weapons of destruction, slaughtering those Jehovah had created alive in order to establish thy idol God. And my lords numbered all the places of thy missionaries in all the earth, and behold, there was not one place which thou hadst established, which was not given up to sin and blasphemy against Jehovah. Neither hadst thou raised up any member or members in all of them that practiced even the first commandments. And I said unto thee, behold, thou hast not the signs and miracles, And I said unto thee, behold, thou hast not the signs and miracles, give up thy teaching, and go thou amongst the barbarians, teaching them how to plant, how to sow and reap and clothe themselves, and to live in houses. But this was untasteful to thee and thy hypocrisy, and thou madest of thy occupation a scheme to live in worthlessness on the contributions of thy neighbors. That sounds like some of the church. And I ain't just getting on church. I'm just saying it just jumps out to me because that's where I came from, right? They living in worthlessness on the gifts of others. They ain't your money. And behold, thy doctrines have not prospered in any place in all the world to work righteousness for the glory of the Almighty. Flatter not thyself that thou hast done a good work, because thou hast taught the ignorant to say, Brahma, Brahma, or Buddha, Buddha, or Lord, Lord, or to sing anthems in praise of thy idol God. Thy God measureth thee and thy converts according to such purification as added to the glory of everlasting life, as well in heaven as on earth. And such purification manifesteth not only in words, but in good works, for the glory of the Father. And when it hath come to pass that thy mission brought about war afterward, behold, that war is also upon thy head. I measured not a little good that happened for a moment, but there an end. Let me go back. Let me read it over. I measured not a little good that happened for a moment, and there an end. I comprehend the lapse of scores of years and hundreds of years, and I weigh the whole matter and render judgment in the aggregate. Whew, boy, you had better make sure what you start, that if it keep going after you die, it's going to be good for all. And not just for you, for the time that you live, because he measures everything in the aggregate. I measure not the little good that happened for a moment, and there an end. I comprehend the lapse of scores of years and hundreds of years, and I weigh the whole matter and render judgment in the aggregate. And not just with the things that you do, but also with the people who come from you and you raise, right? Your children and your children's children and your children's children. Neither judge I by man's inventions or mechanical contrivances. I screwed that up. Mechanical contrivances. Neither judge I by man's inventions or mechanical contrivances. My judgments are in reference to man's comfort and joy in life, and to his resurrection in my heavens, according to a man's or a people's ascending grade and approximating Jehovah, so shall a man and a people be judged. Chapter 30. Chapter XXX. The subtitle is God Judgeth Dominions. God said, Now, behold, a certain rich man coveted his neighbor's children, and when he went about and captured many of them, and withal he was mighty above his neighbors, and none of them could regain their offspring. And a certain rabbi inquired of Jehovah concerning the matter. And Jehovah answered him, saying, Whatsoever he coveted and hath taken, suffer him to keep. And what he hath taken exultingly shall be a bondage unto him in sorrow in time to come, for he shall provide according to law. And it so happened that a famine came upon that land, and according to the laws, the rich had to provide unto the kin of their own households. And behold, the rich man's possessions were consumed by the neighbors whom he had robbed, and great sorrow came upon him. Such, O man, is the way of the dominions of men. A mighty king stretched forth his hand to possess his neighbor's kingdom, and Jehovah giveth it unto him. And that king exalteth, saying, Behold my possessions and my power. Hear now the judgment of thy God, O man. Soon or late all things answer unto Jehovah in a way man imagineth not. Whosoever coveteth and receiveth is bound unto Jehovah. Wow. And when a king possesseth himself of a new country, he not only receiveth its riches, but its misfortunes also. The profits and losses are all his, and the sins of the people are his, and are henceforth upon his head. And when a famine cometh upon that country, the king shall be responsible therefore, and he shall supply every want of the people, or judgment shall be upon his head. And for all of the newly acquired subjects who may be in sickness or distress, the king shall be judged. Moreover, judgments shall pursue that king into the S world, and the subjects he took unto himself on earth shall be his in heaven to redeem and provide for and educate. Neither shall he have exaltation in my heavens faster than the lowest of his subjects. Behold, I not only bequeath the glory and joy of the Father's kingdom on earth, but I reveal also the responsibilities which shall be hereafter known to mortals. Man shall not only perceive the justice of my judgments, but he shall realize the power of my hand upon kingdoms and empires. I show man not only the way of liberty, but the way of bondage. He shall know understandingly the ways of my dominions, and the judgment that is upon him. That ain't that good, because a lot of places, a lot of religious places will have you to believe that there are just some things, and clearly there are some things that we don't quite understand about the Creator yet because of our immaturity and our lack of understanding. But they make it seem like we just supposed to be dumb from the cradle to the grave, and we ain't supposed to know nothing spiritually. Just let the Lord, he's mysterious. Just let him work it out how he's going to do it. And we just need to be grateful for whatever comes our way and what doesn't. Right? And I'm just like, I'm going to another planet. I want to get off of Earth. Listen, I show man not only the way of liberty, but the way of bondage. He shall know understandingly the ways of my dominions and the judgment that is upon him. For everyone whom the king causeth to be slain in order to possess a new country, the king shall mete out retribution unto all his enemies, do pardon and forgive him. Yeah, okay. Verse 19, behold, I have revealed the grades and rates, and such king shall perceive. Let me go back. Verse 19, page 691. Behold, I have revealed the grades and rates, and such king shall perceive that his bondage cannot be less than 6 generations, but maybe 20 or 40 generations ere he reach beyond the second resurrection. Jeez, wait. Wow, so at least 6 generations. A king is going to be in bondage at least 6 generations. Whoa, look. It is well-rounded judgment, right? BC, first time, shalom, look. Behold, I have revealed the grades and rates, and such king shall perceive that his bondage cannot be less than 6 generations, but may be 20 or 40 generations ere he reach beyond the second resurrection. Just like with, like say you go to court and you get hit with different crimes, there's a certain amount of time that you need to spend in bondage for your crimes. It's the same thing. It's like jail. Hotter is simply like jail. We have hotter here on earth, y'all. Hell, here on earth. Everything that we gonna see there, we can already see here in the building. Everything, right? Ain't nothing. I'm gonna say ain't nothing new under the sun. Like what we gonna see, we're already seeing, just on a smaller scale. And whatever your crime is, even here, if some of you may know, if not all of you, each crime not only carries a certain amount of time, but also a fine, right? So each crime is worth something monetarily in the court system, which is why when you go to jail, you got all these fines and fees and stuff, because this crime costs this much here in this city. And don't let it be something that you can be tried on federally, right? Because you're going to be hit with higher fines for your crime, right? And then they're going to put you in a place and they ain't just going to let you sleep all day. You're going to have to work unless they find out you just can't be around people and you always causing trouble. But y'all got to go to work, whether you pressing paper plates in a penitentiary. I just thought about something my daddy said. Look. My daddy used to have us do this little tongue twister. He said, listen, see if you can say this fast 3 times. Peter Piper picked a pack of pet ice cream and got caught stealing. Now Peter Piper is pressing paper plates in a penitentiary, right? Listen, because what did he do? He got caught stealing. Now the paper plates and stuff that he's pressing out in penitentiary, they pay you for this. Like, and I have a family member that I talked to on the phone. When they were incarcerated, they was letting us know how much money they earned a day. I was like, wait a minute. Y'all got jobs in there? He's like, yeah, we only earn like a few pennies a day. I'm like, what? How did they expect you to pay off your fare? He said, I don't know. I'm being here forever. He said, because my fines is this many thousands of dollars, and I make 2 cents a day. I'm like, well, what's your address? I'm going to put something on your books. It's not funny. But seriously, y'all, everything that's happening here now, that we seeing is getting us ready and prepared and training us what to do and what not to do, and the consequences of our actions, whether it's going to be good or whether it's going to be bad, or you going to be in there with Peter Piper pressing paper plates in the penitentiary in the S world. Listen, page 6, I got to stop playing. Look, page 691, verse 19 at the top, left side. Behold, I have revealed the grades and rates, and such king shall perceive that his bondage cannot be less than 6 generations, but maybe 20 or 40 generations ere he reach beyond the second resurrection. And the same rules apply to every king and queen and emperor and every other ruler in all the world. The resurrection in heaven of each and every one of them shall be with, and no faster than those they ruled over on earth. And they shall be responsible to all their subjects for deaths resulting from wars, wherein the subjects were used for the glory and power of the king, and for all famines, pestilences, and all other injuries that come upon the multitude through any shortness in the king's government, and for the poverty of the people, and for their ignorance and crime. Nor shall the king escape retribution for any good thing he might have done, but did not accomplish. And for all the profit and service the king receiveth on earth from his subjects, he shall render back to them an equivalent profit and service, either on earth or in heaven. Let not the king or other ruler any longer flatter himself that death effaceth the bondage of man unto his subject and neighbor. Behold, by opening the gates of heaven, I have given you the glory thereof, and with it I also give you the responsibilities. Just like if I give you the keys to this car, I'm giving you freedom, but with that freedom also comes another set of responsibility for a whole bunch of other people that are out there driving, right? It's now them out there also now becomes your responsibility, because while you're on the road, you're required to follow certain rules and regulations that are not only keep yourself safe, but other people safe as well. Hit somebody from behind if you want to. You're going to be paying out the wazoo, because that was your responsibility to make sure you was following the rules of the road, right? I'm telling you, yo, this wisdom is all around us if we would but open our eyes and see, right? Hold on. Let me go back to verse 21. The resurrection in heaven of each and every one of them shall be with, and no faster than those they ruled over on earth. And they shall be responsible to all their subjects for deaths resulting from wars, wherein the subjects were used for the glory and power of the king, and for all famines, pestilences, and all other injuries that came upon the multitude through any shortness in the king's government, and for the poverty of the people, and for their ignorance and crime. Nor shall the king escape retribution for any good thing he might have done, but did not accomplish. And for all the profit and service the king receiveth on earth from his subjects, he shall render back to them an equivalent profit and service, either on earth or in heaven. Let not the king or other ruler any longer flatter himself that death effaceth the bondage of man unto his subject and neighbor. Behold, by opening the gates of heaven, I have given you the glory thereof, and with it I also give you the responsibilities. I have brought the angels to your door. They bring you news of great joy, and bring you also the afflictions ye cast upon them. I told those of the olden time that sword should answer sword, war should answer war, and peace receiving peace. Such then is the judgment of thy God upon dominion, and this shall be ratified in time to come by every ruler on the face of the earth. What we got? Okay. So we had an hour, 4 minutes. We have to do something that we have not done in a very, very long time, because I need to do a second video today. I'm gonna read one more chapter, the next 13 verses, right? I ain't just going to end it without telling y'all. We're going to read this next chapter, chapter 31, right? It's 13 verses, but we're going to stop after that. But tomorrow, because during this time, I will be in the air, I cannot go live. And I'm not even sure that sometimes the Wi-Fi on the plane is choppy. So what I'm going to do, I have to pre-record, right? It's not going to be live. I know. But it's going to be a premiere. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe... No, yeah, I will be in the air. Our flight leaves at 6. We take off at 6:32 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. But I'll check and see if I can at least jump in the chat. I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna pre-record it tonight, and I'm gonna set it up as a premiere to start. And it's gonna be on time tomorrow. I know I'd be late, but tomorrow it's gonna be starting promptly at 7:15 because it's gonna be scheduled promptly, right? And so I'll probably make some comments in the videos. And everybody that's here, I'll probably shout out in the video like we was live, right? So we're going to carry on just like we live. So, but hopefully, and like the first leg of our flight is like, shucks, by the time, I'll probably still be in the air by the time it's done. But I'm going to double check. And see, because we're stopping in Atlanta first. And then we head into LAX and then over to Honolulu. So, but I'm going to check once, if I can't get any kind of, if y'all don't see me at all in the chat tomorrow during the live premiere, that means I ain't got no kind of signal. But soon as we land and get close, I'm going to be checking just see if I can pop in. Hey, y'all got signal. Everybody probably be leaving or be left or whatever. But if not, if you don't see any kind of comments for me tomorrow morning in the chat, that means I didn't have any kind of access whatsoever to Wi-Fi, right? So I'll probably leave comments under the video once I do get it. But the very next day, Friday, I will be live at the same time, right? I just need to double check my time zone because it'll still be live at 7:15 Eastern Standard Time, although I'm going to be in another place, right? So, okay. All right, so let's read this last chapter, and then we'll go ahead and pause, right? Chapter 31, page 691, and it's chapter XXXI. The subtitle is God Judges the Man of Promise. God said, consider the judgments of God, O thou man of many promises. Behold, I have heard thee say, O God, if I were rich, or if this undertaking hold good, or if I am spared, then will I do something handsome for the Father's kingdom. And thy vows have been registered in heaven over and over again. And my angels have labored with thee to fulfill that. Let me read this again. Hold on. Listen to what this said. God judges the man of promise. Everybody's like, Father, if you help me out of this time, I promise you, I'm going to do this for you and I'm going to do this. And every time you open your mouth and utter such things, it's being recorded. Listen, God said, first of all, Father, forgive us all, because I know I've done it a couple times, but at least to my hurt, I do try to keep a lot of my promises, if not all of them. Like this, I'm just be honest, this next 40-day fast, I've been really struggling with. That's like the only one, like daily, I'm starting my 40 days. What's crazy is, y'all, the first time I didn't have any issues going through the 40-day fast. And it's like, I don't know. It's a compilation of a lot of different things, right? Sometimes you know how you get hyped about something and you just running off the hypeness of what you heard till you go try to do it again. And it's like, and your body fight against you or your mind fight against you. Now you got to get educated and you got to it's like you got to pump and prime yourself and make sure you're doing it right, because you start going into it and things start going wrong that didn't go wrong the first time. Now you really got to learn about the education of fasting, like all of these things. Like it is really, I've really been struggling with getting through this next one. I do smaller ones, no problem at all, right? What type? Straight water, Jamil. That's why. Look, but listen. I even got wisdom from the kingdom of heaven. Pamela, don't just do straight water, right? Because I figured out something when I tried it. Look, when I was tracking it, it's been since last year. When I got to day 10, something different happened to my body that didn't not happen to me the first time I did the water fast. Yes, Gloria, coconut water is what the Father told me. He said, this time use coconut water, right? I was like, I never even thought about that, right? So now, even with the coconut water, my shenanigans of getting in here, cooking and stuff, some mornings I get up, popping something, I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm supposed to be fasting. Oh, my gosh, Bob, I'm sorry, right? And so this whole long train of just different things. You know what it is? I'm just making excuses. Before I even give you all my shenanigans, all it is excuses, really. I just got to really hold myself accountable to this, right? I'm telling you, that's all it is. Anything else than a yes or no is just a lie. Really? It's me have to really be disciplined with myself on that, right? I'm like, I'm so disciplined and all these other things. Why is it so hard for me to do this again, right? It's crazy, right? I'm really beating up my own self. Like, what is your problem? Girl, what is your problem, right? Like, seriously. Alicia, I hate your hey. All right, let me read this. Listen. Chapter 31, page 691. God said, consider the judgments of God, O thou man of many promises. Probably should have my name in here. Behold, I have heard thee say, O God, if I were rich, or if this undertaking hold good, or if I am spared, then will I do something handsome for the Father's kingdom. And thy vows have been registered in heaven over and over again. And my angels have labored with thee to fulfill thy let me tell you, listen. I'm gonna just put myself out here on Front Street, right? I'm put my own business out here in the street. Matter of fact, I did it live before. Remember I told y'all my husband and his little prize car, his Mustang, right? Not Mustang, this Charger. He since then has given the Charger to our 19-year-old son, right? It's his car. But one day I took it out on the spin. You know, he got it all souped up and stuff, got the sounds, it's beautiful, right? So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take it to the store. He's like, Pam, don't really take it to the store. I mean, it's good, but it's a couple more things I gotta check. I was like, but you've been driving it all week. You just don't want me to, why don't you want me driving your car, right? So I drove the car. I should have listened to my husband. Didn't listen, right? Get out there driving on expressway. Me and Bella. We went to get our nails done. I was like, girl, let's take the long ride home, right? Bumping the music, got the sound system in there and everything. Was like on the express, like, hey, right? Next thing I know, music bumping. I started smelling something. I'm like, Tootie, you smell smoke? She said, the next thing I know, it started smoking from under the hood. I'm like, holy crap. But the exit was right there, right? So I hurried up and got off. And then I got over. I was trying to get over so I could get off the main road over into the gas station. But it just completely went out and it started like smoking real bad. I grabbed Tootie and first of all, I hurried up and looked, make sure when I jump out, we both weren't going to get hit by a car. Jump out and we standing over on the median. I'm like, oh my God, I should have listened to him. I was like, oh, he going to kill me. His car about to blow up in the middle of the street. Right? So I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what's wrong. So I was like, let me call him. I'm like, babe, where you at? He said, I'm on my way from the warehouse. I was like, listen, I need you to meet me over here right off this exit. Me and Tootie stopped. We stand in the middle of the road. What? What happened? I said, your car started smoking. Pam, why did you take my car? I was like, well, first of all, I told you we had to get our nails done. He said, didn't I tell you not? I was like, look, don't be yelling at me. I said, we wanted to look cute. And he was going off. I'm like, okay, all right. We took the car. I know you said don't take it, but I did. I'm sorry. Now we stuck on the side of the road and it's smoking. You need to do something. Do I need to call 911? Because I don't want it to blow up then because there's other people driving. But what had happened was one of the hoses popped off. He was getting some stuff done, right? And he ain't had, like, sometimes he just be like, look, just don't touch it. That's what I mean. Don't touch it. I ain't really got to explain you all the detail why I said don't touch it. Just don't touch it. I'm like, listen, I'm your wife. You better give me some detail. Why can't I drive it? Right? So he said, listen, girl, I told you, don't drive it. I had to get the clamps and stuff for it. I was like, well, how was I supposed to know that? Well, I was trying to protect you. Had you just listened, and now you and her almost blew up in the car, right? And so I'm like, you know what? It ain't even all that serious for real. Listen, so what happened was, Look, that was the first time I took it. You thought that I would learn a lesson, right? A couple days later, I took the car again. Because I'm thinking, when we got it back, he called his mechanic, but they didn't fix everything. They just kind of, they fixed the clamps and everything, but it was something else that they had to get done. I'm like, I ain't going that far this time. I'm just going down the street, 7-Eleven, I'm going to grab a Slurpee, right? Should have been fasting. Should have been fasting. I'm going to go down to 7-Eleven and I'm going to get me a Slurpee. Not only did I get me a Slurpee, I got me a honey bun too. And a part of my thing was like, I'm going to stop eating all these extra sweets because that's my biggest downfall. I'm addicted to sweet stuff, right? So no, it really is. I'm addicted to sugar. That's what it is. Look, so got in there, coming out the store with my Slurpee, turn up the music again, pop this honey bun open, take a couple bites, go ahead and put that jank in reverse, completely cuts off. I'm like, don't do this to me, not today. I'm only not even 5 minutes from the house. Come on, I got to get this car back from my husband. Would not start. And I'm like, I could call the tow, but my son's going to probably rat me out when I get back. Not that they're going to rat me out, but they're going to be like small kids because they love to see tow trucks and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, Lord, they're going to say they not even going to know that they ratting me out, but they're just going to start talking about this tow truck. And I was like, I can't do that. You know what? I'm just, you know what? Pam, you're wrong. You should have took it. Go ahead and call them. Let them know you stuck again. This time I didn't have Bella with me though. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, Father, please, please let this car start. Just please, you got to let it start. If I don't have to call the tow truck and pay this money, I was like, I promise you, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start this fast. Just start this car for me, please, right? Now, mind you, it's been at least 3 months since I said I was going to start my fast. Hadn't started it. But anyway, get in there, didn't start. And my husband got there. He's like, you know what, Pam, I'm going to take the keys out the house completely. I mean, you worse than the kids. I was like, man, I know. You know, the car, it's the bomb, right? Let me give you your props first. The car is amazing. And so he's like, listen, I'm on my way. I'm like, okay. So he get there. I'm like, Father. He's like, you know what? Now you about to cost us another $100 that we didn't have to spend. Now we're going to have to get it towed. I'm like, Father, please. Just start this car. So I don't have to call the tow. Matter of fact, I had already called the tow truck. I said, just look, we still got time. I can call and cancel this if you just start this car. So my husband's like, you know what? Pop the hood again. So he gets under there and he puts his hands on the, whatever it was he put it on, and he just shook it a couple times. He said, try and start it up. And it started right up. He said, please cancel that tow truck. Get this car home. I'm like, you know what, Father, that's it. I'm starting this 40-day fast tomorrow, right? Because I had already been eating honey bun and Slurpee today. So I'm like, okay, that's it. But even still, then I did good, and I got to like 10 days, and it was just like, no, not that time. I didn't make it to 10 days. I got to the second day, right? And just not thinking, restarted my ghrelin system and stuff, while in here cooking, tasting stuff, and didn't even realize it until after I had pretty much almost got done with the meal. I'm like, holy crap. It's like, Pam, you're supposed to be fasting. But anyway, that's been the struggle, right? So it's more so like mindset and really just paying attention to what I'm doing. Sometimes I be so busy and just not like thinking about things. And it's like it tends to get away. So in that area, I really need to grow up a whole lot. But I've been every day, like I've been fasting every day since my birthday. Clearly, I haven't really kicked in the whole 40 days, but I'll get through like 7, and then it'll be 3 and go back to 7, you know, trying to build up to the 40. It's like, I'm not sure. Well, I don't know. Probably a bunch of other things that I'm doing that I'm not recognizing that I'm doing, that why I keep thwarting my own plan to get through the 40 days. But I'm making y'all, I promise y'all I am. Look, I'm going to have this 40-day fast completed before my next birthday in March. Where we at? We're in October. I'm going to have it completed by the time I become, how old am I now? 42, 43? I'm 43. By my 44th birthday, I promise you I'm going to have this 40 days completed. All right, y'all, let me go back to this. Listen, Page 691, chapter 31, verse 1. God said, consider the judgments of God. God said, consider the judgments of God, O thou man of many promises. Behold, I have heard thee say, O God, if I were rich, or if this undertaking hold good, or if I am spared, then will I do something handsome for the Father's kingdom. And thy vows have been registered in heaven over and over again. And my angels have labored with thee to fulfill thy promise. Started the vehicle, right? And I'm like, okay, let's go. Call it, you save that, you called them, save that money. And my angels have labored with thee to fulfill thy promise. And yet thou dost not regard thy word, but thou holdest to thy earthly possessions, saying, wait yet a little while. Oh my goodness. I feel horrible. Hear thou then the judge. I'm getting all hot because I know I'm wrong. Oh my goodness. Hear thou then the judgment of thy God, for it is that which thou shalt put upon thyself. I'm going to get this straight, like for real, my G. Listen. Hear thou then the judgment of thy God, for it is that which thou shalt put upon thyself after thine entrance into the S world, which is oh my God. I'm gonna get this together, y'all. Look. Which is that thou shalt be bound in heaven till thou shalt accomplish what thou mightest have done but failed to do. And this is the penalty for neglecting. Yikes. And this is the penalty for neglecting on earth to fulfill the light that was given unto thee. Thou shalt in heaven accomplish without money what thou couldst have done with money. And the difference it required to do a thing without means as compared to what might be done by one with means is the extra bondage and duration that shall be upon thy head and soul. Holy crap. Hold on. Let me read this again. I'll go to verse 5. Hear thou then the judgment of thy God, for it is that which thou shalt put upon thyself after thine entrance into the S world, which is, thou shalt be bound in heaven till thou shalt accomplish what thou mightest have done but failed to do. And this is the penalty for neglecting on earth to fulfill the light that was given unto thee. Thou shalt in heaven accomplish without money what thou couldst have done with money, and the difference it requireth to do a thing without means as compared to what might be done by one with means is the extra bondage and duration that shall be upon thy head and soul. To all men who set out with a promise to accomplish charity or any good for the resurrection or amelioration of man and failed to do it, the same judgment shall be upon them in heaven. Nor shall they rise, nor shall they rise above the first resurrection until they have fulfilled the same in all particulars. Thus shall they judge themselves in heaven. It is not sufficient for thee, O man, to say, I saw not my way clear as to the best method of doing a thing, and so I waited. The commandments of Jehovah is upon thee to do what thou canst, according to thy highest light and ability to accomplish. In this respect, then, thou shalt find no excuse, because thou knewest not the best way. Neither mattereth it the amount of thy riches being less than another man's riches, nor shalt thou find an excuse in saying, I did more according to my means than did my neighbor. One man shall not be judged by another, but all shall be judged according to the light of Jehovah in them, and according to what he hath given unto them. Yes, Tootie. Yes, and I'm about to end it right now. All right, beautiful people. Yikes. Okay. I know what I need to do. You know what? And let me just say this, right? And my fasting is not just because, my fast is not just something selfish, but the vow that I attach to my fast for a group of people. right? And the group, I might as well say my family, and different things for each one, where I would give up my own self to see them develop and to hear from him. And that the best thing that I could think of, like, because what do we really have that we can give to the Creator except for ourselves, right? And that was a vow that I had made, to see them not just blessed and be able to prosper, but that they would have the best thing, which is him, and be able to hear and see all that he says and shows to them. So that's attached to my vow of fasting, right? And so just be honest, we family here, right? So I don't know. I know we pray for ourselves and stuff, but I want to be transparent about that, right? Because this last little chapter, it hit me deep down in my shanana, y'all. I feel like I just got a whooping. All right, y'all. That is it for today. We've done. Hold on. Let me put my page number 6. 5 to 31. Tootie.
Mom, I found.
Hold on. Pause. All right, beautiful people. Hold on. Father.
Something that
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Pause. Father, you are master of all things, known and unknown. All right, beautiful people. Today it is Wednesday, October the 5th, 2022, day 230 of year 4, reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1,248. We read in Oahspe the book of Judgment, chapters 25 through 31, which is found in Big Blue on pages 687 to 691. Yeah, to 691. I don't think I had anything extra to share. I already told y'all about tomorrow. Let me see if I missed any questions real quick, because I ain't gonna be live with y'all tomorrow, but we will be live at the same time. It'll be a live premiere. Checking over here, double checking. Facebook. Beautiful people. Hold on. Vinette, you know what? Let me tell you something. That's something. You said we have to prepare the body before we can fast, and that's something that I was paying attention to, because I think that's the biggest key why I can't sustain it the way I did the first time. I'm thinking about what did I do differently, not just the hype about doing it, but what I realized that I was doing before I actually went into my 40-day fast. I had been doing a series of juice fasting, right? So I didn't have to just get out for 1 second. 1 second. That's good, because it just clicked.
Okay, I found this on the web for a series of juice fasting, right? So I didn't have 1 second. Check.
It just clicked. I was doing like a series of juice fasting, which is probably why when I went into it, I didn't have all this buildup of sugar and stuff in my body, and I was able to carry it out like literally with no problem whatsoever. Right. And I think that's what the issue is. I think I really need to take the time and prepare my body like I did, like I wasn't thinking about that I did, and not even doing it, and when I did it, I wasn't even preparing myself like, I'm going to do this fast, let me prepare my body. I was just already doing it when I decided I was going to take it up a step further and just go into a 40-day fast. And that's what I was not paying attention to, because I kind of did it unconsciously before, but I'm trying to figure out, why is it so hard now? And so, yeah, with me going back to eating some of the sugary stuff, that's probably exactly what it is, and why I can't keep to it, because the sugar is crying out for more sugar, and sometimes I give into it, right? So thank you for that, sis. Okay, thank y'all for safe travels, blessings. Let me make sure I missed no question. Thank you. Okay, all right, y'all.
Mommy, guess what?
All right, y'all. So, like I said, tomorrow we will be on time, 7:15, because it's going to be pre-recorded, but it's going to be a live premiere. And if I have access, I'll be chatting with y'all in the chat. But if not, I'll leave comments under the video afterwards or whatever. But we will be live at 7:15 a.m. on Friday morning. Yep, Friday morning. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I see y'all. Y'all gonna see me back here tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, for the backup, there's one more comment. That's what I had to remember. For the backup channel, just like we do 7:15, I made a post about it yesterday, but just in case y'all didn't see it in the community section on Facebook, on the backup channel, if y'all, I know some of y'all catch the replays on the backup channel, but from this point on, the backup channel will have the current day's live video from 7:15 going live every day at 12 p.m. every day during the weekday and the weekend. I'm gonna just leave it at 12 noon for the backup channel. That way, because I just kind of throughout the day uploaded to the backup channel, and they uploaded all different types of time, but I figured we probably should get a little bit more structure there so people can always know when to expect it, right? So they don't have to guess, or they miss it for a couple of days or whatever and have to get caught up. So the backup channel will be 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single day with the exception of the Sabbath, right? All right, so that's starting as of today. So this video from this morning right now, you will see it on the backup channel at 12 p.m.
Why you got another one?
Because when I bought them, I bought 3, and I just went and got this one because I didn't get the refills for this yet. All right, beautiful people. So, and remember, the links for, this is the main channel. Clearly, y'all know what this is, but the link for the backup channel is always in the description box for every day's video on YouTube and Facebook. All right, beautiful people, that is it. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
Oh my God.
What you do? What you do?
I don't know.
Oh, there it goes. Okay.